there, I am Elisa with EECC Travels, and we are hitting our list of cruise tips. If you are interested in our 101 cruise tips, there is a link down below where you can download them. In this video, we are talking specifically about dining. You know, for a lot of people, me included, food is a big part of any vacation, whether it be a cruise, land vacation, whatever. Getting to taste new things, try new things, experience new things makes the vacation even better when it's good food. So we're going to talk about how you can maximize your eating potential on a cruise. Just kidding. I'm not talking about going and like gorging yourself. I'm talking about some tips of finding things that you might not know about. Okay, so tip number one, try things other than the main dining room and the buffet. So I know a lot of us, as soon as we get on the ship, what do? We go straight for the buffet, and that's fine. But for the rest of your cruise, try and find things that are outside that realm. Most cruise lines are gonna have venues that are included at no extra cost that you can go try. For instance, one of our favorites is the Guy's Burgers on Carnival. Oh, they're so good. They're just so good, and they're consistent across every ship we've been on. So going and having a Guy's Burger instead of going to the buffet for lunch is a win-win for me. Also, their newer ships have the Shack's Chicken. You've got the Blue Iguana Cantina. Carnival does a really good job of offering lots of different venues that are included at no extra cost. And then you go through the other cruise lines. You know, you've got on Royal Caribbean, you've got the Promenade Cafe, you've got Sorrento's. Sometimes you'll have like a Loco Fresh, depending on the ship that you're on. You'll find these different venues. For Norwegian, you've got Oceans. You've got, on some of the ships, you've got a bonus Asian spot. Different names apply to different ships. And then, you know, Holland America. I'm not going to hit them all, but I'm just telling you kind of my favorites. The dive-in burgers at Holland America are fabulous. Really good. And the poolside pizza on Princess is really good. So, and most have a pizza place too. So try the different things. Don't just go with the safe option of the buffet or the main dining room. Branch out, try new foods. Tip number two is specialty dining. If you want to eat in any of the specialty dining restaurants, try and make those reservations before you get on the ship because they can fill up quickly. Specialty dinings are usually small venues, so they have a limited number of tables and you're talking thousands of people on the ship. So if you want something specific and you have a certain dining time you like to eat at, book those as far in advance as you can. You can book them on board, you're just not gonna get those prime dining times. And my opinion is try specialty dining. There's some really spectacular specialty dining out there. For instance, every ship has a steakhouse. I don't think I've ever been on a cruise ship that doesn't have a steakhouse. So that is you know, you can get steak in the main dining room, but you're gonna get that step up steak in the specialty steakhouse. Little tip, not every ship, but a lot of times if you make that dining reservation for the steakhouse on the first night, they'll throw in a free bottle of wine for you. So that's a nice little bonus. But we've had some great specialty dining meals across the different cruise lines. Pinnacle Grill is fabulous on Holland America. We love Onda and Teppanyaki on Norwegian. Wonderland was like one of the coolest experiences we've ever had on Royal Caribbean. So get out there. Even if you only treat yourself to one a cruise, it's definitely worth trying the specialty dining. On port days, my tip is to fill out the little card or call in ahead of time and order a breakfast to be delivered to your cabin on a port day. Why? Because everyone's trying to get off the ship and that buffet is a madhouse. But you can sit on your balcony or sit on your bed and have a nice leisurely breakfast that was delivered to your room. If you order it the morning of, it's gonna be a while before they get it delivered because so many people are trying to do the same thing. But if you order it the night before, you can pick your delivery time and it'll be there. Almost every main dining room I've ever been in, when you get to the dessert menu, you're gonna see a cheese plate. Well, to me, that's not dessert. I know it is for some people, don't get me wrong, but to me, that goes with your bread. So if you ask your server to bring the cheese plate with your bread service, to me, that's just awesome. And if you are doing traditional dining where you have the same table and the same waiter every night, and you let them know, hey, I really like a cheese plate, they'll bring it every day without you even having to ask. Speaking of main dining rooms, ask for the kids' dessert menu. Even if you're all adults at the table, just ask to take a peek at the kids' dessert menu. It might surprise you and you might find something on there that you prefer over to a fancy dessert. Tea time. I love tea time. Now, you're not going to find this on every cruise line and you're not going to find it on every ship, but if you can find tea time, it's usually going to be on a sea day. It's going to be in the afternoon, and it's just a really calm, relaxing environment. You get to go in, white tablecloth, fancy tea, little snacks. Sometimes they'll even have like a string trio playing music for you. It's a really cool experience. So if you've never done a tea time, check that out. On sea days, instead of going to the buffet for lunch, go to sea day brunch. Sea day brunch is great because it's the same menu that's served usually starting around 8 o'clock in the morning and goes till usually 1:30 in the afternoon. So you've got a mixture of breakfast and lunch on there. So depending on when you get out of bed and what you're in the mood for, you are covered. But the sea day brunch is great. Again, not every cruise ship, but you're gonna find it on most. And you can go in and have that leisurely breakfast or early lunch, and it's a nice calm environment, and it's something different. So in the evenings, specialty dining is always going to be at an extra cost, but sometimes on some cruise lines, in some ships, the specialty dining restaurants are open for lunch at no extra cost. A good example of this is with Carnival. So you've got the Cucina del Capitano, which is their Italian restaurant. Costs at night, you go in at lunch, and they call it the Pasta Bella or the Captain's Pasta Bar, and it doesn't cost anything. Same thing with the Asian restaurant, different names on different ships, but you go in at lunch and you can get like a Mongolian wok, noodle bowls at no extra cost. So you're still getting kind of that little bit of an upscale lunch at no extra cost. On port days, if you do go to the buffet, grab a couple of extra things to bring into port with you. So the little boxes of cereal make a great snack, especially if you have a very long excursion and it may or may not include lunch and you might get hungry on the bus ride or something like that. Those little boxes of cereal are fantastic. Also, grab some fruit. Not in Cozumel, not in Mexico, don't take fruit in there. But in some ports, if it's allowed, grab a banana, grab an apple, and you've got a healthy snack that you know is safe because you brought it off the ship and it's good to go, and just throw it in your backpack and take it with you. All right, so this is a little bit of controversy here lately, but the main dining room. Order what you want, don't go crazy, but try new things. So recently, some of the cruise lines have started scaling back, saying you can only order 2 entrees. Really, I think that's enough. You know, the portions are small, so don't be afraid to order 2 entrees. I know a lot of times on formal night, they'll have lobster and prime rib. Well, that lobster's small. It's not going to fill you up. So if you order the lobster, get something else too. So a lot of times Jason, especially because he loves lobster and prime rib, he'll get both. And we don't feel guilty about doing that because he's going to eat them. My philosophy is if you order something, eat it. Unless it's just not your thing. Try something new, but don't just order to order. Don't order 5 things just to take a bite of each. That's wasteful. But go into the main dining room knowing that I can go in here and I can try this and I can try that, and if I don't like this, they'll bring me something else. So don't think you only have to order 1 appetizer, 1 entree, and 1 dessert. If you see a couple things you want, give them a try. This is gonna be one of my favorites, custom pizzas. Okay, so if you have a ship that has a special pizza place, whether it be, you know, the Pizza del Capitano on Carnival or Sorrento's on Royal Caribbean, doesn't matter the ship. When it's not busy, please don't do this when it's busy because it isn't going to happen. But when it's not busy, if you go up and you ask the person, can you make me a custom pizza? they're more than happy to do so. I personally am pretty simple with my pizzas, but I like a lot of pepperoni and a lot of cheese. So I asked for a custom pizza to be made with those items. Now Jason, he likes supreme. He likes everything on his pizza. So we'll do the same. So sometimes we'll go and say, hey, can you make a half supreme, half pepperoni with extra cheese? And like I said, they're happy to do so if they're not too busy. If they do this, please give them an extra tip because they are going above and beyond to do something for you. But the other thing is they'll give you the whole pie. So sometimes these custom pizzas are only this big and one person can easily finish them. Sometimes they're a little bigger and can be split. But I can tell you the best pizza experience we have ever had on a cruise was on Celebrity Apex. And this little guy, he went above and beyond because we're like, oh yeah, we want this. And we named something that he didn't have right there. And he goes, hang on a second. And before we could even stop him, he ran to the buffet to get it and brought it back to put on our pizza. It was just fantastic. And it was a really good pizza. Okay, last but not least, we are going to talk quickly about beverages. You can, I'm not talking about beverage packages, but you can pre-order some beverages before you get on the cruise to be delivered to your cabin. Bottled water is a very good example of this. When you get on a cruise ship, bottled water is going to cost you extra. You can go get filtered water at no cost all throughout the cruise. A lot of people will bring their own bottles and refill them throughout the cruise, and that's fine. Some people do prefer bottled water over filtered water. If you do, my tip is to pre-order this because it's going to be cheaper and more convenient because it will be delivered to your cabin. Some cruise lines will also allow you to order sodas be delivered, like a 6-pack or 12-pack of sodas be delivered to your cabin. You're going to pay a lot more for that than you would if you carried it on yourself, but you can do it. And some cruise lines will allow you to order like a bottle of alcohol be delivered to your cabin. So if you're not going to get a drink package, sometimes it's better for you if you specifically only drink whiskey. Order you that bottle of whiskey, have it in your cabin, and then you're good to go for the whole cruise. Well, I hope these tips have helped you. If you learned something new, leave it down below. If you have a tip that I didn't mention about food and beverage on a ship, leave that down below too. And again, if you want that 101 cruise tips, the link is in the description. And I'll see you next time. Happy cruising.